Hey everybody, welcome to a little bit of a different episode of the Roundabout cast.
Yes.
Episode 25 is starting with just me and Joe. Joe, introduce yourself.
Hello. Hi, I'm Joe.
Just Joe.
Mediocre podcast number 3.
Yeah. Oh wow, you don't even give
Yeah.
yourself number two. That's rough.
No, you're number 1, and Bradley's number 2. I'm number 3, and
Damn.
then if Tyler is punch card to 5, he'll be number 4 because that's the order that we introduce ourselves in.
I
I'm third billing.
I never noticed that Bradley always goes before you.
Yeah, well, it's best to keep it the same.
So
Anyways, hello.
the reason we're doing it this way is because me and Joe got a lot of exclusive content to talk about, so we're going first today. The other
Yeah.
two will be joining us for some other shenanigans.
Oh, I forgot to look at this week's colored Jojolion too to see what it was. Oh, plant. Sorry, I'm sorry. The second.
Is it Plant Appraiser?
No, it hasn't been updated yet.
Okay. Well, good
Yeah.
good segue, I guess, into Jojolion. What are we at? 92 now?
Part 4. Yeah.
This chapter was really good, and I'm really excited to talk about it.
It starts off with a fire cover page.
I really like it. It's just cute that Jobin is in the corner, also like pitching in,
Yeah.
pretending like he's
What
not
could this be
maybe the
battling?
main villain. I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah. Let's
But
figure out.
the chapter itself starts with the lecture that the head doctor is going to. Stephen
The lecture that
Steele.
Yes. I don't. Steven Steele's like Japanese cousin.
is here introducing head doctor Akafu.
Yeah. Kufi Satori, is that what his name is?
Yeah, Akefu Satoru.
Yeah.
Which Toru's
And,
name is what? What's Toru's last name? Do you remember?
I don't remember. I'm
they're
sure if I
really
look it up.
they're really similar. I like how when he's being introduced, he's putting his hat away.
Yeah.
And walking out towards the crowd in the same way that we usually see him with it, which is from the back. I just think that's
Yeah.
a neat callback to how we've always seen him, but now he's going out into the light, quite literally.
We don't have Toro's last name, so that's gonna be the big plot twist reveal.
I could have sworn we did. Well,
What?
either way, Josuke is dead. He's dying here. When I looked at, you can see his ribs and guts falling out. Like, has there been such a serious wound for a JoJo?
I don't know.
Aside
Maybe.
from like a death wound.
Yeah, I mean,
Like-
Joseph lost an arm.
I don't know, man. Something about losing an arm is less grotesque than your sides being completely fucked.
I can't wait until this is colored. That's just about it.
Yeah, that's gonna
Like-
look gnarly.
It's gonna be fucking great.
Josuke,
But yeah,
Josuke goes through a lot of shit this part because like just seeing how he's panting in pain
Yeah.
and like failing to reach even medicine in his cool
And, like,
boxers.
he's like really at a low point now because he thinks he gets like the upper hand and thinks he's figured out a workaround, only to find that like the stand is just kind of automatically doing its thing regardless. It just turns on and off
Mhm.
based on him rather than the head doctor. So now he's just like, well, I'm fucked. Like, I got so far, but I literally can't stop this thing.
Yeah. As soon as he woke up, it immediately backfired.
Yeah.
And then when I was first reading this, seeing Holly showing up in the next few pages was wild.
I was taken aback because I was just like, is this really this person? This
At first, I thought Josuke was talking to himself, and like Josefumi was talking to Yoshikage or something. But what it really was Holly doing it, and we'll talk about her seeing him as Yoshikage a bit later because I think it comes back up.
But like, I thought at first it might have been like a
Hallucination.
yeah, something like that, and like something like in Yoshikage, like coming out and just kind of like him remembering something.
Yeah, like a memory.
Yeah, and
I guess it's better that it wasn't like that because like it's important. I think that Josuke doesn't have any real memories. Like his only memory is Flashback Man. whom we will never see again.
He's gone.
You know. He's fucking dead.
But yeah, and Josuke had a fucking huge ass pet rabbit though.
You mean Kira?
Yeah, Kira.
This is such a random little touch, but I think it's so cute. Like,
this is another one of those Araki, what are you doing moments up there with Taro making the generators for Death Stranding.
It's right. We talked about how Toru spends all his bandwidth on making power generators when he plays Death Stranding. It's Holly, just talking about Holly, she's so much more important in this part than part 3 Holly, for example. And she's actually proven herself to be like a really tragic character.
Yeah, and like it's kind of funny you mentioned part 3 because like the motivation in this part and in part 3 is literally the same thing.
Save Holly if you reduce it. Yeah.
Yeah. But like in this, it's very much shown that like there's just a lot more depth to Holly's character and a lot more depth to the relationship between Josuke and his two halves, and it's really like showing Araki like.
We'll definitely touch on that later in this chapter because I think Araki
all
really.
Saying is Araki going monthly was probably the best thing that ever happened to him.
Yeah. At first I was like, oh man, I gotta wait a whole month for like 40 pages. Nah, dude, those 40 pages are quality. Big Jailhouse Rock vibes. Lock, rather. Is it Lock or Rock? I guess it's interchangeable.
The stand is called Jailhouse Rock, but the arc is called Jailhouse Lock. But it doesn't matter because as we find out later, RL is the same in Japan.
Oh man, I don't want to. We'll talk about it. All the shit. So it took me a while to realize. So she has information written on her arms. Someone begs the question, I guess, of like, how did she get away with writing all this on herself?
Well, I think. Hold on, I'm about to look this up.
Oh, because she would always write on herself, right?
Yeah, but she always wore that hat and the long jacket and everything, so no one ever saw her actual like outfit or what she looked like.
Well, I mean, when they're doing experiments on her, I'm sure they see her body.
Maybe, but I think like I don't know. You could just this is like hold on.
But it took me a while to realize that the ruler markers is how she keeps track of time.
Yeah,
of when the rock is going to hit her brain.
Yeah, which is really neat.
Which is really fucked up. I kind of want to talk about how this rock is moving. Joe, what even is this?
It's like they were experimenting, I think at one point, like trying to like move the equivalent exchange around so you could choose where it got exchanged.
Now, is this a theory, or do they reference?
No, I remember it, and I remember something like that in the Dr. Wu arc when they find the lab and they're talking about how like they don't want, they're trying to like
isolate
taking the brain, so they're trying to move it, and so I think by doing that
they fucked her up too hard.
Yeah.
I kind of like that.
I do too, because you kind of get this like this woman that's in perpetual like. Almost like Josuke, where she has two different personalities.
Yeah, when she's awake and lucid, and then when she's kind of losing it and knocked out.
Mm-hmm.
So
it kind of shows too that like they were doing this to her while she worked.
Yeah, she talks about it in a little bit later in the chapter when they showed up and they started doing this to her. Now I wonder why they picked her. Maybe just because easy access to someone with a smart brain.
Maybe, or like I'm sure there's some reasoning behind it. It might have been just a luck of the draw thing, or maybe it was because she mentioned she worked overnight shifts all the time.
That's true.
And now,
so maybe they had a lot of accessibility. A lot of accessibility to use her at nighttime.
Yeah, but anyways, like it's a cool kind of idea, and it's not like even like a stand battle. It's more like a situation that's happening.
Yeah, and there's nothing Josuke can really do about this right now. And as soon as he sees the rock moving, I really like that panel of him, like, it's really dark, Araki never really does his shading like that.
Yeah, that's different. Like really, really
It
different.
really
All.
Go ahead.
I've read all of the colored. Like I've only read in colored basically for everything, so I've never like seen black and white until Jojolion. So I've never seen anything colored like that or what that would look like in color.
Even I think even in black and white, because I've read it on black and white as well. It's really emphasizing like how much this is affecting Josuke. If we go on to the next portions of the chapter, which has the doctor showing the Lokakaka fruit, and I guess we need to address this. There's two ways this can go, right? Either it was always Lokakaka, which would be disgusting and saddening, or this is how the rock humans are marketing the Rokakaka. They're changing the name a little bit. Yeah, I choose to hope and believe it's the second, so we weren't wrong all along. Because Rokakaka is such a good name.
Yeah,
it has rock in it.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. Yeah, it's so funny.
But so I want to talk about the head doctor's plan here because it's a little weird, right? So they're finally finalizing the treatment. Well, I guess there's two parts of this. He says that he's going to complete the real version of what he's proposing later this week, which is he means he's going to get the grafted Rokakakaka, and that'll be like that'll be the finalized version of his treatment, right? But say he's marketing this and people are like, oh, this is making my body parts into rocks. Wouldn't that mean that the government needs to get involved and like judge the safety of this medicine?
Maybe.
Which would mean that they might have to tell the government the truth about the Rokakaka.
Here's my personal opinion.
Yeah.
I don't think any of that matters.
It matters a little bit because the part's been pretty grounded on like tax evasion is what got Joe been caught, for example. Like it's they have a whole money laundering system with the Damo group to get like the Rokakaka trade going, and that's how the doctors are involved. Yeah. So I feel like Araki's put enough thought in to where I can put thought in now as well. Now, here's another angle to take this, right? When he has his finalized version, the equivalent exchange is going to be between two people. So he'll be able to heal anyone by sacrificing a rando, so it'll be really fucked up. But it would be hidden enough to where the person getting healed wouldn't complain. They would just be getting healed, and the government wouldn't know. So that's where I think his plan works, if that's what he's going for.
Like, I need a kidney fixed. You get two people with, like, one with a working kidney, and you knock that guy out. You just have a... We'll see what happens. I also feel like this is kind of going to be a plot line that just kind of ends, because I don't think this is, like, our...
I mean, you're right. This won't come into fruition. It's just interesting to think about what his motives were here, which are really sinister motives when you put it that way.
Yeah. I think it's really interesting because, like... In our previous part, Steel Ball Run, throughout the entirety of the part, we kind of know that Valentine is the one that's behind everything and doing all this different stuff. And, like, what kind of makes Valentine great is you have this kind of weird, like, not weird, but, like, you can see where he's coming from kind of deal.
Yeah, he's got good motivations.
Yes. And, like, and he's our main antagonist because of it. But, like, in this part, this head doctor is very much like the last of like this plot that's left essentially of this scheme, and he but he's not like a main antagonist. There's no way he is.
So a lot of debate going on in the discussion threads, right? Like, who is the main antagonist? A lot of people, just because he's like the head doctor, is one, a leader of a group, and two, he has like a big monologue here. People are like zeroing in on him. To me, it just doesn't make sense to have the central main antagonist be introduced so late. And his only ties with Josuke, they have no like personality ties. I feel like any of the other candidates.
And there's no like conflicts of like not morality, but like of morals and like how they view the world, like compared to like Valentine and Gyro and Johnny.
Yeah, it's like the rock men just want to get fucking paid. They want status and power, and like
they're the villains with the twirly mustaches that lay the women on the railroad tracks to get run over.
Not quite. I wouldn't quite say that, because like getting paid is a realistic like motivation. But yeah, it's so that's why at best. At best, he will be one of like 3 or 4 main antagonists. Yeah. In which I'm still going with this big battle royale kind of chase for the fruit finale. If he's not taken out in the next 2 chapters, which I think he might be, he might not even make it to the finale, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Like
that's just a theory.
But yeah,
that being in the short term though, he's a great villain, like a great short term small arc villain.
But this arc is the longest that we've had for a while though.
Yeah, because
most of the other arcs have been 2 or 3 chapters.
I think they're all like 4 to 5.
No, like Orojo coming back with only 2 chapters, and then
Wu Tomoki is like 3 or 4. Yeah.
Sure. 3 or 4, but now this is definitely going to 5.
Yeah, the longest arc before this, that like Plant Appraiser, but that's because two chapters of Plant Appraiser were just meeting Rai.
Yeah.
So I'd say he's been a very big focus for like 5 chapters now.
And technically, like this is like the second half of another arc, because we have this part, and then we have the original meeting of them in the hospital.
Yeah, exactly. And then we have the in between part.
But yeah, this is kind of like, but we're getting to we're winding down to the end of this part now.
Definitely.
Because now we have our doctor revealed. We kind of have like what's going in his head and what's happening, and we're already at like the place where he is. And it's been a while since we've had a Josuke like face-off arc, you know?
Yeah. It has been a long there hasn't been a one-on-one with Josuke in a long time.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Though I still think someone might show up, like Rai might show up or something, but I guess we'll see. We can move on to like the final portions of the chapter.
Yeah.
Which is Holly wheeling Josuke to the gynecologist office.
Is he going to the gynecologist office?
Yeah, she had on her arm that like that's where the secret lab is.
Oh, really? Okay.
I believe so. I could be wrong, but it's not that
gynecology department, room A2.
Yeah. So, as he's doing this, Akefu is going through like his plan and how it's gonna benefit the world, and this is more like a way to reaffirm his motivation, while also like the double meaning is that this is how he's presenting it to the world. So it serves for both functions. But when they finally get into the room, Holly starts talking about how the head doctors showed up kind of overnight and kind of took over, how they got a hold of her and started experimenting on her to perfect their formula.
Yeah.
Likewise, she says that they had ties with the Damokon group, which made them very powerful as far as like enforcers went. And then we get to kind of the climax, right? She breaks open the hidden wall, which is where they're storing the Rokakaka serums, Lokakakos, and we just get this amazing moment. Holly's kind of like feigning the tumor rock is getting to her brain, so she's gonna get reset. So how do you think they reset her? Do you think they keep feeding it to her, and then it like resets in her body?
I think it's like it literally just maybe they give her a new one every time they have a new serum.
Yeah,
so this is probably like their most successful one, which is why she's been able to like been testing it over again, and now she's like, this is my chance, and she can.
And with this repeated exposure, that it could explain why it is doing this extra phenomenal thing of moving towards her brain all the time.
Yeah.
Also, like as this is happening, Josuke looks both sad and just incredibly fucked up.
I think
he's barely breathing at some points. He's like panning really hard, and then he's almost crying every other panel. So we get to this big finale.
So Holly says something interesting where she's like, the head doctor has no face. That's the kind of person he is, and it's kind of like I don't know if that's a metaphor or an actual literal thing.
I think it's metaphorical. Okay. I think this is a rocky, flowery language. As in, like, he has no face in the point of which, like, anyone who needs to know his face won't be able to reach it. Like, you'll never reach the truth kind of scenario. Yeah. I don't think he's an eldritch abomination. And I still don't think he's an illusion that goes to office hours. But, I can't wait to be wrong, because this does lean it a little bit back that way.
Yeah, with Toru and everything.
Yeah, I'm going more with the metaphorical here.
There's definitely something fucky going on.
Yeah.
And it's also interesting that the head doctor has never come face to face with one of whoever has been pursuing him, you know? Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's true. Anyone that's pursuing him always sees him from the back. We can think of Mitsuba doing it last chapter. Yeah. And he was... So I guess we can say confidently he was poking around the house because he's doing recon for the fruit. And he just doesn't give a fuck. He wants to go there and see it with his own eyes because
he knows that whoever's going to try to chase him down is going to get murdered.
Yeah.
And he knows he's probably going to have to kill everyone in that house eventually.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
So, Josuke is just straight fire near the end of this chapter. He says,
yeah,
I can't do that. So she's like, you can't be chasing the head doctor anymore. It's just not going to work. And he's like, I can't do that right now. It would be all in vain if I don't finish what I started. I swear I'm going to find him. And when I do, I'm probably going to even kill him. And when Josuke Higashikata says that shit, you better believe that. This man will kill you in cold blood in the middle of the daytime if you wronged him enough.
And make it look like you were just punching a ceramic brick.
I mean, his face was rock. Yeah. Rest in peace, Damo.
Mom.
So this shit, I cannot believe he took the serum. I talked to you about this a little earlier, right?
Yeah.
So, from the beginning of the part, I have no doubts that Josuke will use the grafted Rokakakaka to save Holly or maybe Tsurugi. If we're going like a route where he kind of has to choose Tsurugi over Holly for some reason.
Yeah. Or like Holly ends up... Or they use Holly and Tsurugi together or something. I don't know.
God, that'd be fucked.
Yeah. But yeah, there's definitely like... It's leading up to another kind of like... combo happening around here.
However, I never once thought that Josuke would eat the Nomaru Kakakaka because we have known for like half the arc now, half the part, that if you do that, something like unreversible is going to happen to you. It's going to be something, people lose their teeth, they lose body parts, and just that kind of change, permanent change to your main character is something you very rarely see.
For two reasons. One, because like that's a huge kind of dive in for that character, and that commitment, and kind of reaffirms that he's going to do whatever he can to like make this happen. And number two is you just completely change the fucking design of your character now.
Yeah,
that's to do.
We'll talk about that in a little bit. It's just so crazy, right? Because it's like this really, if you had any doubts that Jojolion is ramping up for that finale, like we just fundamentally, like Josuke just destroyed a part of his body right now. And I like how he had to do it, not because of like something really metaphorical or abstract. He had to do it because his fucking ribs were poking out of his body, and he needs to do it for Holly. So it was a simple like.
Well, I think the metaphor you could say here is that he's going to sacrifice himself to save Holly or whoever.
Yeah, but it wasn't like
that's the whole thing.
I like how there was a mundane like I got fucked up by an attack, so I have to do this now. It's not like just it could have been like a badass. You know when Zoro like is like, I'm gonna cut my fucking leg so I can keep fighting. But he doesn't really need to, like, relax, dude. This isn't this isn't like that. This is Josuke. It's like, I'm gonna die if I don't do this, and I need to do it for Holly, so I'm gonna do it.
And this isn't like Crazy Diamond or Cool Experience either, where like it's a quick fix kind of thing. Because it's straight up like that part of his body is rock now.
My favorite part of the whole process is how much it fucking fails, though, at first. Where, because he's doing it with the thought of the head doctor in mind, it immediately turns into an attack.
Yeah.
And you get I have no mouth and I cannot breathe moment, which is just horrifying. So Holly sends him off in a couple words where... So, I want to get her wording straight here because it's weird. Bad things will come crashing into you. Yoshikage, listen carefully. I'm about to say I have the bottle. You won't be able to do it because your intent is to chase after him. Ever since you were little, once your mind is set on something, you'd be cool. Yeah. So all this to say, she's kind of like having this last maybe sacrificial moment to reaffirm Josuke's mind in that if you come for either the serum or to do it for me, like if you have a greater priority in your mind and the head doctor happens to be in the way, you'll be able to avoid his attack.
Yeah.
Which I really like this for a particular reason. I hate when stuff is so broken that it has no practical counter.
Yeah.
I think Araki has always done a good job at, like, fundamentally nerfing a lot of even his strong abilities. Mm-hmm. Even D4C, for example, it's, like, super broken defensively, but offensively it's, like, pretty average as a stand, right?
So here's big brain thought number 2 coming from Holly and Josuke. Like, here's big brain Joe thought that probably isn't gonna work out the way I think it's gonna work out.
Oh yeah.
But so they're in this room and Josuke breaks the entire machine that has all the stuff in it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the only thing left of it is on stage with the head doctor now.
Yes.
So what if he thinks that in order to save Holly, I have to get another bottle of this to give it to her to bring her back?
Oh shit. I really like that because then it's like Holly has needed. That makes a lot of sense going what we were saying to where to get out of her coma every time she needs a new treatment. He destroys every piece of treatment, leaving only the last piece so that he can chase that piece down without having to focus on the head doctor.
Right.
I like that.
Yeah.
Just to finish my thought real quick, I like this because this is such a busted ability. It is like maybe top 5 strongest defensive abilities in all JoJo's.
Oh yeah, like,
it's like a step below Gold Experience Requiem.
Yeah,
and it's like the fact that it's strictly tied to your mentality and that there is a way to overcome it. I really needed that to complete that ability, and I feel like they delivered.
Right, I agree. So this begs the next question: does Holly have a stand or not? Because she seems to really assume she must know about stands and how like they kind of fundamentally work.
What do you say?
Because like she knows Josuke has a stand. She's like, do the thing, just do it. I don't care, and does it.
Wait,
and
what thing? What you talking about?
When Josuke is a kid, he has like a blockage in his arteries because of the drowning, and she's like, and she tells Kira, there, send your thing in there and blow it up for me. So
and then he sends tiny little sheer heart attacks into his veins.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. She's known about her son's stand, so she knows.
So she probably knows that the head doctor has a similar
ability.
Yes. Yeah. Or she has one. I don't think she has one. It'd be cool if she ends up like having something, but I don't know what it would be. It'd be kind of neat if it was Crazy Diamond.
No, Crazy Diamond is the head doctor's true stand. Just wait on it. I like how she pours it down his like little hole. Mm-hmm. All right, on to like what page are we on? Because this is where the real shit happens.
Yeah.
Near the end, Holly has like death steam coming off of her.
Oh yeah,
which
the death clouds.
Which is worrying. Yeah. This panel of Josuke crying is
There's a lot.
So good. Well, no, this main one where he's going ha ha, he's like panning. Yeah. Araki has gotten so good at displaying facial emotions in like part 7 and 8.
Yeah.
I kind of like, I was like, this hit me really hard when I saw him crying. And like, we've never seen a JoJo look this pathetic. Even Johnny, who has downright like negative moments where he's just below the lowest. Like, I think this is even.
They're using the fact I can't walk to kill me.
But yeah, like I really feel for it. When he says "mom," though, I was just like, "Oh fuck."
Yeah.
I say this is one of the saddest scenes in JoJo's, which I think is impressive because JoJo's has no shortage of sad scenes, but they're usually tied to a character death.
Right.
There's one key scene that I think is really sad, but isn't tied to a character death, and I think it's Johnny when he gives up the corpse part in Sugar Mountain. I think that's a really somber scene. So I really feel like Araki is really getting better at these like more subtle, more character-driven, trauma-driven, emotional scenes.
Yeah, I don't know if these might be death steam coming off her, but this also might be just like a scan like thing that happened while they were scanning.
That might be life steam coming off of Josuke, if you look.
Maybe, or like the rocks forming.
Yeah,
it doesn't seem they're actually connected to anything. That's why.
No, yeah, it's coming from. It's too low. It's from Josuke. Okay. Oh man, so Josuke starts contemplating. It's like, why did she think I was Kira? Like, was it her mental issues, or does she fundamentally feel that I'm her son? Either answer is beautiful to me, so I'm glad that there is no answer. It's just kind of ambiguous.
Or she's doing the fucking Bruciolati shit where she's mistaking Trish, or mistaking Doppio as Trish.
Joe, why you gotta bring up bad arcs while we're talking about good arcs? Okay.
I like how we haven't mentioned his underwear yet.
I've talked about it a little. I said he has cool underwear.
He has great underwear.
It's fucking fantastic. So we got a contender for best speech in all of JoJo's.
Yeah, up there like with 101%.
My name is Higashikata Josuke. Woo! And it just ends with, I am your son, no matter where I go or what era I live in. That's something certain that I can believe in. That is so beautiful, Joe. Joe, fucking bear with me here as I'm like, wow.
Well, like, this is like an inversion of Kira's speech.
Yeah.
Like 100%. Where when Kira's giving his speech to Shingechi, it's very much him saying, I know who I am, this is what I do, I don't want you to mess with anything, and like, just get out of my life, I'm going to kill you now, kind of deal. Whereas this is Josuke going, I don't know who I am, everything that's ever been known about me is now gone forever, but the one thing I do know is you're my mom, and I'm going to save you.
And like, so some people have said that Josuke is aimless. I feel like this has always been, as early as like half of this part, he has always wanted to save Holly for a reason that he couldn't quite verbalize.
I think even since like Born This Way, which is like the 3rd or 4th act.
Yeah, well, it was still mostly about his identity back then. But so even though he's never really been able to so succinctly say it, so I think this is a cool reaffirmation to both the reader and Josuke of what his true priorities are.
Yeah, like I think like he always knew that, like you said, Holly is like the key to like figuring out who he is and what his like whole life basically is. Like that's the one connection that he has to his past.
Or rather, possibly he's forging a new connection because he's not the same person, but both Josefumi and Kira owe Holly their life. So there's something in there, something innate. I saw a really good comment on the Reddit discussion thread where it says, I am your son no matter where I go or what era I live in. That's something certain that I can believe in. Feels like a manifesto to the entirety of JoJo's, where it's like, it has this heart that transcends like time and location and dimensions. And I feel like this is a really good thematic encapsulation of one of the biggest themes in JoJo.
which is that generational kind of
Yeah.
connection between all of
Yeah.
them. Yeah.
Which makes it even more beautiful. We get this badass aura that's been built up the last 2 cover pages where we see Soft and Wet doing auras.
Yeah.
This might be the first crying aura ever.
Yeah. I mean,
they're usually so triumphant or like angry.
Yeah, or vengeful or something like that.
The closest again would be Johnny. He's not crying, he's just lamenting while doing it with his arigato gyro. This final pose is so fucking badass.
This is like gonna be his pose now, probably for like ever, in terms of like artistry and like putting people on things. I feel like it's so good.
It's so I got permission of the guy who colored this pose to make this the thumbnail for this video. Shout outs. Hold on, I gotta get his name. Say something while I get on Reddit, Joe.
So I just wanted to point out that like he has this line of rocks coming down his left eye, and it happens to skip over the Joestar birthmark and just continues downwards.
That's sick.
Yeah, it's really cool. Stars mark the spot. You know, that's where you find your treasure, on the back of your shoulder.
Let's talk about so shout outs to Cryogenic Lycan. They colored the artwork here.
Yeah, panel. I said it to Willer. I was like, "This is sweet," and then Will was like, "Hold on,
hold up. Let me ask this man for permission." Something I really like about this. There's a couple of things. One, it looks badass.
Yeah,
but it's also like disturbingly fucked up because the rock is going into his eye.
Yeah.
So he's blind now.
He's blind in one eye.
So that's a severe, like, this is like if Luffy lost his eye, but there's still like an arc to go. Like, it's a big deal. Someone pointed out that it going down his left side like that kind of mirrors where Jotaro's chain is. And on account that Josuke is like a combination of
Josuke and Jotaro.
Josuke and Jotaro all in one. Like, he's a big mishmash of a lot of...
Well, I mentioned this to you before, but like Josefume and Kira like team up and start doing things together around the same time that Josuke and Jotaro knew each other.
That's true. Time-wise. Yeah. Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah, and Josefume has that fucking hair.
Josefume is very Josuke in hair, and like he even has like Holly makes fun of his hair once, and he just kind of looks fucking pissed. But
and he's also like a goofball.
Yeah,
joking around and everything. Like, he's very much a teenager, but like with a solid heart to him. And Kira has always been, whenever we see him, he's very quiet in the flashbacks. He doesn't say a lot of things and just gets exactly what he wants to say.
Manipulative a little bit. Where he messes with Ojiro. But another thing is that in the family tree, Kira equals Jotaro.
Yes.
In part 8. So that really, I kind of like that. How it's like, that's around the time where Josuke and Kira met. The two characters are pretty even analogs to those two characters.
They both, and they have some relation back to Holly.
Yeah.
It goes back into like, this part is basically Stardust Crusaders, and part 4 like kind of jammed a little bit together.
A little bit of part 5 in there too, with the gang, with King Crimson. Everyone says, "Oh, it sounds like the head doctor's stand is King Crimson." That was kind of mean, but I don't see it.
Not Baby Yoda. Anyways,
I think that's good for Jojolion 92. Yeah. This chapter was flames.
This is he's looking out into the parking lot.
I guess across the parking lot must be the auditorium.
Maybe. Do you think he's gonna go there in just his underwear and just not give a fuck?
Dude, if the finale of this 5-part long, like 5-chapter long arc is Josuke fighting in his sweet undies, public indecency, ooh, yeah, my boy.
And like, I also like about in this part, so Soft and Wet has never been a stand that he kind of keeps around. He always takes it down and puts it away immediately. You know, like does.
That's true. He's not one to have Soft and Wet.
And he always like whenever he uses just the bubble power, it's just the bubble showing up. Soft and Wet like very rarely shows up with the bubbles. You know, so like, but now he's like walking around near the end of this part and really kind of like interacting. Like, he's leaning over his shoulder and seeing what's happening and all this other. Like, it's just a really small thing. It might be just me over like looking at, but he's actually out and staying out. Like Josuke isn't like a worry to like keep him out and keep him around.
This could have easily been a final panel of just Josuke looking out. So
Yeah,
I mean, what are we here for if not to overanalyze? Like, that's what we'll provide.
It just might be another way of showing that Josuke has like realized what his whole purpose is in life and is not afraid to show it anymore. You know, it's just
all right. Prediction time, Joe. Before we close the segment out,
two more chapters.
I predict two more chapters. Yeah, exactly.
The next one will be him like getting to the parking lot and Doctor doing whatever, and it ends with them looking at each other. And the last chapter is Josuke finally beating his ass.
And he says, "Draw your killer queen," and then it ends.
Yeah, bring out your dangerous pursuits. I guess that's the name of the stand. That has to be the name of the stand.
Which is interesting. It's interesting that Araki had a fight called Pursuit earlier. I believe it was Born This Way. What might have been called Pursuit at one point, or maybe it was Dubiwa. I'm not sure.
Oh, maybe.
But then he's like, "Yeah, you liked Pursuit. How about Dangerous Pursuit?"
That would be dangerous.
There is a lot of like I've seen people mention that there's a lot of like long range automatic type stands. But for some reason, I don't know how he's doing it, but I feel like maybe it's who's involved in each fight. They've all been like distinctly different from each other, which I like.
Yeah. There's been Blue Hawaii, Dubiwa, this one,
Dangerous Pursuit,
Born This Way,
Brainstorm a little bit, Born This Way, and I Am a Rock.
No, he has to activate I Am a Rock. He has to see the person, I thought.
It's true. Yeah, it just ends up being a long range attack, but
yeah, it's not automatic. But yeah, anyways.
Ozone Baby.
Oh fuck.
Which he has to plant, but it works.
God, that was a disaster for everyone involved.
You think the dog is alive? I don't even remember. I just remember his guts coming literally out of his mouth.
I just remember like everyone just pretty much fucking dying in that arc.
Yeah, it was great. Good times. Dad and son bonding time.
Yeah.
As we die in this closet.
You want some arts and crafts? Let's make some origami figures. Can you make a fire truck?
All right. That's